apologies for the inconvenience. I will call it open at 6:34 p.m. Everybody got the attendance, right? All right. Oh, bring you this side. Okay, and we will move into public comment next. At this time, are there any members of the public who would like to comment? Seeing none, we will move into our reports, and we will start with Caroline.
Hey everybody. I hope you guys are all having a great week and staying warm. Since my last report, I've been busy compiling usage data on the school-wide New York Times subscription that Academic provides for all undergraduate students, so you should register if you haven't already. Just so that my committee can kind of assess the success of the initiative. This is the first time we've gotten this amount of data from the New York Times in the past 3 years, so just to kind of see where we're at. I've also been busy looking into pricing for potential merch options for upcoming committee events, including our iconic Academic Affairs hoodies and other items as well. And speaking of school supplies and merch, all of our additional materials that were delivered after the school supply drop have been sorted, and we coordinated a delivery to the Academic Achievement Center, so all of those will be donated. My Deputy Director, Issa, has been hard at work with professors and cultural centers as the first of our merit pop-up workshops are coming up. The first one is currently scheduled for March 11th. These sessions are targeted towards ESL undergraduate students and will cover various professional topics such as interview prep and resume writing, as well as relevant concerns related to academic success at UConn. Finally, as a committee, we are beginning to plan a finals week event, which will be in collaboration with the Dean of Students Office, where we will likely be distributing free ice cream and portable chargers for students, so stay tuned for more info on that in the next couple of weeks. If any of these topics interest you, or if you want more information on anything that I just mentioned, please feel free to Slack or email me, or attend committee tomorrow from 6 to 7 p.m. in Student Union 324, right down the hall. And tomorrow's meeting, we're also going to be talking about course registration concerns. So if you have any suggestions on that, feel free to stop by. Thanks.
Are there any questions? All right, Liv is on pizza duty, so we're going to come back to her, and we'll go to Jabril next.
Yeah, tough act to follow, guys. Let's see. A lot I've been up to, finalizing a lot of the purchasing and the budget stuff for the events for the rest of the semester. In a couple weeks we have the cooking classes. We finalized those. It's going to be a taco cooking class and a ramen cooking class, which is really great, guys, because I don't know how to cook. So, hey, let's hope I learn a thing or two. Let's see what else I've been up to. Sorry, guys, it's been a really long day, and I'm on a lot of hours, my brain fog. Another midterm de-stress mental health event. We'll be giving out student services beanies and hot cocoa. Stay tuned for more info on that one. As well as working with facilities and the food pantry to set up an event again sometime in April where people will be able to give donations in exchange to pay off their parking tickets. So that'll be exciting. As well as a finals event with Subag. That'll be an educational giveaway event for mental health. As well as working with, I don't think Serena's in here right now, but we're working with her to table with Shaw for Suicide Prevention Day. So that will be a great opportunity. Yeah, any questions? Yes.
When were the cooking classes again?
March 9th and March 23rd. March 9th is the taco night, March 23rd is the ramen night. So we're in the middle of putting in the purchasing form, and then we're gonna have a sign-up sheet go live on our Instagram soon, USG UConn. So those will be first come, first serve RSVPs. We don't have an exact date for when it will go live yet, hopefully sometime within the next 2 weeks. Yes. Any other questions? Awesome sauce.
Okay, thanks, Jabril. be here tonight, unfortunately, but she has been busy working on elections. As you all know, the intent to run closed yesterday. So she'll be certifying candidates with the judiciary next week. For anybody who is running for an executive branch position, so that's president, vice president, comptroller, or chief diversity officer, petition of peers is due tomorrow in an Excel sheet format. So please submit that. Other than that, she's just been working on cases through the judiciary. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Next up is me. I have been working on planning upcoming meetings, coordinating our guest speakers. Thank you to everybody who came to our caucus last week with Senator Flexer and Representative Haddad. Other than that, I have been working on coordinating our mentorship and getting pairs connected. That is about it. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so we will move on to Billy.
Hello. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Some updates. Ahmad and I just got an updated number for Tier 2 spent. We're at about $860,000. We're looking pretty okay to make it to March, so that's pretty exciting. We're sending out weekly emails to RSOs kind of on just like a reminder basis, and that's been going pretty well. We've also implemented kind of an informal Tier 2 funding like feedback form because currently, like up to date, we've only had the appeal form kind of active, which is like a formal reporting system that's like procedural, but we want to get some more informal feedback that we can use for data and whatnot and improve our own performance. So that's really great too. Additionally, we started SASVAC today, which is the Student Activity and Service Fee Advisory Committee. I serve on that with Jack Wright, who is part of Nutmeg Yearbook. He and I are the 2 undergraduate representatives, and then a few GSS people and some faculty. So we heard some budget presentations from our trustee organizations on regional campuses today, which went really well. USG goes tomorrow, which is really exciting, and then we'll hear the rest of the stores Tier 3s tomorrow as well. And then finally, another big update is that we are having a club sports funding town hall next Tuesday, right? Yes? Okay. Where we're going to be hearing from as many rec-affiliated club sports RSOs as possible, because it's been made public knowledge that the rec center will no longer be financially supporting club sports starting next academic year. This is really concerning for USG because we financially support club sports, and we're worried about, number one, the sustainability of these programs, but also what that means in terms of putting strain on USG's budget, as well as what we can do to help support some of these smaller club sports that are going to be tasked with fundraising kind of all on their own. So if you have any questions about that for me, please let me know. I'm really excited to talk about it and get some of that feedback from club sports or people that know people that are in club sports. And then also, I just want to continue to advertise the mentorship program. I had a really lovely experience getting to meet with Alyssa the other day, and it was awesome. So I'd love to talk with more of you about my position in USG in general. So thank you guys.
Were there any questions for Billy? All right, next up is Phoenix.
Wait, Leslie had a question.
Oh.
So started by 2026, club sports, the price to increase.
Say it again for me one more time, I'm sorry.
The price for club sports, you told us, that the price will increase because they won't be funded.
Yeah, so that is sort of like an indirect outcome of this situation, right? Because if they're not getting any funds from the rec, I imagine maybe their dues will increase if you want to participate in a club sport. I can't be certain. I'm going to find that out maybe next Tuesday, hopefully. But yeah, for those that don't know, club sports, they all collect dues for participation as part of one of their requirements for being a rec-affiliated club sport. We don't know how that's going to change, what that landscape is going to look like next, starting fall 2026. They might do more, they might completely disband from the rec entirely, which would mean that they may or may not collect dues. We don't know. I'm going to try to ask as many questions as possible and hear from as many club sports as possible, and I'm happy to talk about it at our next Senate. So,
Angela?
What does the fee look like for students that are facing a recreational fee? Like, is that going to increase or decrease? Do you know?
the rec fee, like in our fee bill, has nothing to do with that. So that is not changing. The dues that club sports pay is like if you're a member of the team. So that I'm based on my conversation with the rec, that $500 that we pay in our fee bill doesn't go towards that at all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Samantha for the minutes. So I'm on a club sports team.
Mm-hmm.
Should I go, like, just for fun, should I go to that town hall?
Yes,
meeting next week?
absolutely. We'd love to have you.
What was the date?
February 17th at 4 o'clock.
Yes, it'll be in the OSS lounge, which is right next to the USG office in Student Union 218. Can I ask what club sport you're on?
Field hockey.
Awesome. Cool.
You said OSS lounge where?
Student Union 218.
What time?
4 p.m.
Alright, thank you.
Awesome. I'm so excited. Any other questions? Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll hand it over to Phoenix.
Hey everybody, so I have a lot of updates, bear with me here, I'll try to make it quick. We did conclude the first 2 sessions of our equitable leadership training, which for those who don't know is our training for paid members of USG. It encompassed a lot of different topics. If anyone's interested, I can share those with you. We are gonna make the presentation itself visible to everyone. And then we will have a training done during caucus for the rest of our members. And we have one more makeup session coming up next, so not this weekend, but the next weekend. I don't know, the date's not coming to you right now. Just so that we're not conflicted with any holidays. That'll wrap up our equitable leadership training. We ran into a hiccup with Jet Dental, so we're looking for a location change. Rome Commons Ballroom was not able to accommodate for the 3-day duration because Jet Dental has to leave their equipment there. So we are still planning to have Jet Dental happen. Like, the funding has been passed, we have coordinated with them, they're still willing to do it. We just may have to change the dates because of the location. So I'll keep everyone updated on that. As far as Women's History Month, we have 3 events, 2 of which are solidified and 1 of which is pending. We will have a self-defense course on March 2nd in Student Union 310 from 3:45 to 5:30. My Title IX coordinator, Serena, wasn't able to be here today, but she's coordinating that. I believe Justin's going to be teaching the course, and we'll also be doing giveaways that include resources for self-defense as well as resources for Know Your Rights. And so definitely encourage you all to come to that. They're about, we'll have a registration link, but there should be about 60 spots. And yeah, come out, take the course, help expand. You'll get a certificate of completion as well, so it'll be really fun. That same week, on Friday, March 5th, we'll have Women Care Package giveaways in Student Union 310 as well, from 12 to 3 p.m. This will include a bunch of just, necessities and things like that that aren't necessarily accessible on campus, whether it be like for location or price reasons. So we're hoping to get those out, and that'll be March 5th. For Black History Month, we wrapped up the opening event we did with the African American Cultural Center. It went really well. A lot of students attended. We got a lot of positive feedback. Happy about that. And we also have the Black History Month Gala celebrating 100 years of Black History Month. For those who don't know, this is the 100th anniversary of Black History Month being universally celebrated. So there will be a gala that we're holding for that. In terms of our incident report form, right now we're currently making a couple of changes to the form just to make it more concise, accessible, and make sure that there's a clear understanding of how to fill out the report form. So we're working on that and hoping to make sure that our reporting form is more efficient. If anyone has any feedback, feel free to reach out. We're always looking to hear feedback from anyone who's used the report before or has some feedback for it. We're working with Women's Center for a Women in Politics Forum. We're looking to reach out to legislators, invite them in, and hold space for students who want to pursue politics after they graduate, or even now, right, or be legislators. And so we're working with Elise, who's director of Women's Center, and Jen, who is their new program planner, and we're hoping to have that towards the end of March. There'll be more details on that to come. I have a follow-up meeting with them at the end of this week. So stay tuned for that. If anyone's interested in that project, again, happy to collaborate and pull you in. We're always looking for extra hands. We'll also be meeting with MERS from ASAC for an Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month event that we're going to collaborate on. Because it falls in May, we typically as universities celebrate in April, so we'll be planning an event for then. Looking to collaborate with them. For those who don't know, one of the goals for the Chief Diversity Office is to collaborate with all cultural centers and programs before the end of my term. So that's something my office and I have been working really hard on. And to follow up with that, we're working with NACP and MECP, so for those who don't know, Native American Cultural Programs and Middle Eastern American Cultural Programs. And those will be, we're working with Angela right now, just to bring more visibility and student engagement. A lot of students don't know that those cultural programs exist, and because their spaces are smaller, their funding is more limited, we're trying to find a way to spread that resource to students, make that space more accessible, and make sure people know that it's actually there. So we're gonna try and work with comms team and figure out a way to share those resources. And for those who don't know, the Native American Cultural Program space is on the first floor, right when you walk in, across from the theater. And the Middle Eastern Cultural Programs is right next to the African American Cultural Center. It's a smaller space. But if you're interested in stopping by, definitely do so. And then, yeah, that concludes our report. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions? All right, then in that case, we'll move on to the Vice President, Caritha.
Hello, take two. Hi everyone, so lovely to see you all today. So over the past several weeks, I've been working closely with government relations at UConn and external affairs to prepare for the appropriations budget hearing, and that is scheduled for next Thursday on the 19th, and Andy and I will be speaking. We also have a couple of civic education opportunities coming up next week. Since on Tuesday, appropriations reporter, he works for the Connecticut Mirror, who's super cool. His name's Keith Vandal. He'll be coming to External Affairs to speak. And next Thursday, the day of the appropriations hearing, we will also have a tour of the Capitol. We'll also continue to track bills and issues of interest for you all, since we've shared some priority topics with government relations, and we'll continue to touch base with all of you if you would like to share testimony in those cases. I've also been working on planning the annual banquet. We have a date now. It'll be Saturday, April 11th at the Alumni Center at 7 p.m. We will send you guys more details to follow, RSVP details and all that soon enough. That is also when we will be giving stoles to seniors. So if you are a senior and you want a stole when you walk the stage, please fill out that form by Sunday, February 15th at midnight, or else you will not get a stole. We will also be doing Valentine's Day candygrams, and we'll talk a bit more about that later. But yeah. I've also been working with the Connecticut Bar Association and their Lawyers with Libraries program to see if we can get a legal services program here alongside some more educational sessions with Connecticut Students for a Dream. Caroline and I met with the registrar's office today to discuss concerns with the college scheduling process. And we will also be having another meeting for the Connecticut Students Association on February 21st to continue collaborating with college students from across the state. I also wanted to echo what Billy said. Please consider joining the mentorship program. I would love to get to know you all more and get coffee. So thank you all so much.
Questions for Caritha? Blessing, you have some?
Do I have to be a member of USG to get a stroll when I'm a senior?
Yes, you have to have been a member of USG for 1 year. All right, at this time, before we move over to Andy, we are going to take a 2-minute pizza break. So we'll reconvene at 6:55. Everybody get yourself some pizza.
How dare you, buddy? What are you doing that day? That's just wrong. Tell you.
Can you see me? It's recorded forever and ever.
Gotta get back in, yo. We need you. We need you. Gotta lock in.
All right, we are going to bring it back in. Sorry for the interruption. All right. Our next report is our President Sandy.
Hey everyone. So for the past few weeks, I've been doing a lot of miscellaneous tasks. I had a meeting with someone from Canva. Someone from Canva was interested in bringing Canva Pro to all econ students, and they were like, oh, we can try this new campus agreement thing, and they were asking me students' interests, and he was also asking me a lot of questions about how often I see students using Canva, which I told him, I personally don't see a lot of people using Canva, but I know a lot of students use Canva, and he was asking a lot of questions about what they use it for, and so we're potentially seeing if people feel really strongly about this, if there is potential to advocate for a Canva campus agreement with our student affairs or our procurement team to make sure that all students are able to get Canva Pro, which is what the agreement would entail. He also gave me some interesting user data, and he said that, this is not a joke, he said we have 6,767 students or users with the UConn.edu email at UConn, and he said 90 plus are students, so that's quite a significant portion, and so that was an interesting call. I didn't really know what a Canva call would entail, but fun times. We also had another meeting with two people from the Yale College Council. Students from the Yale College Council are trying to advance a bill that would prevent universities from replacing institutional and financial aid with scholarships. And so this doesn't happen at UConn, but for other colleges, for example, if you get like a $5,000 scholarship, the school would reduce your financial aid by that same amount. And so they're basically trying to get student testimony, get student support for this bill. I don't know if we'll have any student testimony from UConn, particularly because that doesn't happen at UConn, but I'm hoping that they're able to get student testimony from other colleges that do kind of do this, that do kind of undergo this process, and so that's something else that we're also keeping on the lookout for in terms of legislative action. The other thing is we also have our Hindu prayer space opening on the 15th. It's going to be at 4 p.m. in ASAC. If anyone wants to attend, there's going to be food, there's going to be speakers. Our wonderful Dean of Students, Fanny Hanna, will be there. Angela Roller will be there. We'll also have a pundit and someone else from, I think, Yale's Hindu Center that will be coming down and talking to us. And so if you're interested in hearing the speakers talk, also seeing a Sanskriti performance, I think, there as well. Yes, go Harita. That'll be fun. 4 p.m. this Sunday in ASAC. And then also the actual prayer space will be in Arahona in room 122. It's a very wonderful space. You can go and check it out. The next few things is tomorrow, Billy and I have our wonderful SASAC presentation at 2:30 p.m.? 2:30 p.m. And so it's basically us telling this committee of people saying about how we spend our money, what we're going to do with all this money, what we want to achieve. Hopefully it's more exciting than it sounds. But if you want to attend, it's going to be in the Student Union Ballroom somewhere. You can look up for the room online, but we'll be there. And all other tutors are presenting, so if you want to see what Nutmeg's doing, what Subag is doing, not Subag, you want to see what Daily Campus, UCTV, what the WUS is doing, they'll all be presenting tomorrow afternoon. The Graduate Student Senate will also be presenting, and so we'll be hopefully kind of having a good presentation, and we're not asking for a fee increase this year. I think the only 2 organizations that are asking for fee increases are going to be WUS and Subag. Oh, and no, Nutmeg and Subag, Nutmeg and Subag. Oh, what was it asking as well?
There's 3.
Okay, well, go WUS. The other thing as well is I was talking to Fani about snow. I was like, Fani, what's all this slush and snow doing 3 weeks or 2 weeks after the snowstorm? And so basically the understanding that I got was the fact that there were a lot of people that were laid off from facilities. And so as a result, it's been very difficult for them to keep up with the maintenance of the campus. And so as a result, they're saying to please bear with them as they figure out their bearings to make sure that the campus is safe and accessible for all of us. But yeah, lots of meetings. I love meetings. But yeah, that's my report.
Questions for Andy? All right, so we'll move into our voting items. First up, we have the approval of the minutes from our meeting on the 28th. That should say 28 on the PowerPoint. Are there any questions, comments, points of discussion on these minutes? Seeing none, I will move to approve the minutes by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? All right, the minutes are approved. Next up, we have the confirmation of Ramon Guzman-Toro to the position of Agricultural Breed Council and National Pan-Hellenic Council ex officio senator. Ramon, who is here tonight, has been nominated by IGC and NGC to serve as their representative in USG. And super excited to have him on board. Any questions or points of discussion on the nomination? Seeing none, I will move to confirm Ramon by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Congratulations, Ramon. Next up, we have the confirmation of Jehan to the position of Hilltop Apartment Senator. Jehan is one of our current School of Business senators who has had a major change, so he has to switch constituencies. And he's been a super active member and super excited to have him in this new role. Any questions or points of discussion? All right, I will move to confirm Jehan by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this nomination is approved. Up next is the confirmation of Maren Hall to the judiciary. Our Chief Justice Ella could not be here tonight, but she asked me to share with you that the nominations committee was super impressed with Maren's application, and they think that she'll be a great fit for the role as a former senator in USG. They were also super impressed with her experience on the debate team, and are really excited to have her joining the judiciary. Are there any questions or points of discussion on the nomination? Seeing none, I will move to confirm Maren by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Congratulations. Okay, next up we have a statement of position regarding fiscal year 27 state appropriations to the University of Connecticut. I will invite Haritha up to present. I'll give you all a second to scan that if you'd like to read along. All right, Haritha, take it away.
Hello again. So this is, as it's named, a statement of position regarding fiscal year 27 state appropriations to the University of Connecticut. Basically what that means is how much money the state gives UConn. So UConn, being a public institution, receives a good amount of funding from the state of Connecticut. And every year, the legislature meets. Right now we're in a short session, as they say, and they're making like amendments to the budget that they created last year. But basically what happens is, you know, on day one of the legislative session, which was February 4th, the governor gets in front of the legislators and says, hey, this is my recommendation for what the budget should look like. Then the legislators will spend the next couple months hearing from the public through the process of public hearings, and that's the thing that we're going to next Thursday. And then also talking it out with them themselves, negotiating with the governor to come up with some final numbers, a final budget for fiscal year 27. So what this is basically saying is, you know, this is how students feel about the budget. We're trying to say, hey, give UConn more money, we want more state funding, and trying to say, hey, we want that money to be used for more financial aid, so higher education is accessible to more students in Connecticut. We are also looking to use this money for student retention efforts and improving student support services. So that's including but not limited to academic advising, community building and involvement, making students feel like they belong here, student health and wellness, campus housing infrastructure, transportation. So these are all things that we want to use that money for. So yeah, and this statement of position is kind of how we feel, and when Andy and I speak next week, this is kind of what we'll base that off.
Thank you, Haritha. We'll open it up now for questions. Are there any questions on this legislation? Okay, we will move it into points of discussion. Does anybody have a point of discussion? Okay, last call for questions or discussion. Talkative tonight. We will move into a hand vote. All those, oh, did you have something? Oh, all those in favor, please raise your hands. Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 23-0 to 2. Kyle and Angelo abstain.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Next up, we have a statement of position regarding Disability Cultural Center at UConn, and I will invite Gabby up to present. I'll also give you a second to scan that.
Hi everyone. Anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Gabby. I'm the Senator ex officio for Diversibility, and today I'm proposing a Disability Cultural Center at UConn. So essentially, this is just a space for students to have a space of mentorship, allyship, advocacy initiatives, community connection, and equitable access for all UConn students, both that are disabled or that are allies of disabled students. This would be an accessible space for them, both physically accessible, in terms of there would be accessible desks and the full layout would be with disability in mind, but also it would have accommodations for different sensory needs. It would be a safe space for all disabled students. Any student that just wants to be part of it as well would be welcomed, and yeah, we're proposing for that.
Are there any questions? Points of discussion? Billy.
Hi, I think this is an incredible idea. I was just curious if maybe you talk to like CSD to like try to get this off the ground in some way, because I think this should be implemented like as soon as possible.
Thank you. So yes, I've spoken to CSD. I actually just had a meeting today with the director of CSD, and throughout anybody that we've spoken to, it's me, and she was not able to be here tonight, but it's an undergraduate student. Her name is Mia Giancola, sorry. The two of us had a meeting with her, and everybody with CSD is in full support of it. They've seen it as an opportunity to actually expand what CSD can do. It also kind of creates another pathway of things so that it's not just seen as, for CSD to solely be seen as the only option for disabled students. It kind of expands everything.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions or points of discussion? We'll go to Tanner, then Jabril.
Yeah, this is Tanner for the minutes. Yeah, I also think this is a great idea. Do you know where this would be located? Like, do you have a space in mind, or is that kind of like after this passes, that's the next step?
So we're kind of working different pathways simultaneously. Right now, the goal is to have it somewhere in the student union. We don't know exactly where, but it will definitely be in the student union, is the hope at least, because we want it to be treated as, first of all, as a cultural center, like all the other cultural centers at UConn. But then secondly, we want it to be a space for students and to really prioritize that, because a lot of questions have been raised about what's the difference between a disability cultural center versus CSD. And CSD is primarily for accommodations and more academic or residential life related issues, whereas this is specifically for student voices, student experience, and their identities.
Thank you.
Jabril, you were next.
Hey, oops, voice crack. I just want to say I think this is a really well-written piece of legislation, and I think this is about a very important issue, and I highly encourage everybody to support this great idea and show your support for this. I'm a big believer in this, and I'm glad that work is being done towards it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam?
Samantha for the minutes. Will this be a place that employs students? Because I know that other cultural centers, they employ students and some of them are through work study. So will that be something that this would implement?
We haven't really discussed or decided that necessarily, but I don't see why not. Again, it would be treated like any other cultural center, so if that's the case at other cultural centers, then yes.
Any other points of discussion or questions on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a hand vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? This passes by a vote of 24-0. So that is the end of our voting items tonight. We do have a few announcements though. First up is the mentorship and networking program. So far, great reviews from everyone who's participated. Highly encourage you all to sign up. That will take you directly to our sign-up form, and feel free to fill that form out more than once if there are multiple people who you are hoping to connect with. Does anybody have any questions about the program? All right. Next up is graduation stalls. What is the deadline on that, Cam? That is February 15th. If you are a graduating senior who has been in USG for at least 2 semesters, please fill that out to get your stall, which you can pick up at the banquet on April 11th. Next up, we have the USG debate on Monday, the 23rd at 6 p.m. in the theater. This is for the executive races, so President and VP debate, Comptroller debate, Chief Diversity Officer debate. Definitely recommend you all attend this. It is a good opportunity to hear from the people who aspire to lead this organization in the upcoming year. You will have the opportunity to pose questions through a form that will be sent out. highly recommend you attend, and if you are in the class, this can count as a programming event for you. Last up, Parisa, you want me to take this?
Thank you. Back there again. So we also have Valentine's Day Candygram. So this is a really cute opportunity, I think, at least, where you guys can scan the QR code right there, and by this Sunday, February 15th, you can send candygrams for up to 3 people. And if you want more, just like Slack me. I'm sure it won't be a problem. But basically, fill out that form, and you can put in a nice, cute little note to them. You can be whatever you want. Yeah, passing it out.
We'll be passing it out at caucus next week.
Perfect. So be there to get your candygrams.
That is our final announcement of the evening. I will call the close at 7:14. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and grab some pizza on your way out.